What is going on YouTube? Just helping you out here. And for today's video, I'll be doing an analysis and review on the soles of the Nike Roshe 1. First off, I want to apologize for any background noise you hear. There's a lot of stuff going on right now at my house and outside, so I'm sorry if you hear any background noise. I'm not sure if you will, but if you do, I apologize now. I got a lot of requests to do this video, and I want to thank every one of you who requested it. I want to base my channel off of requests, so leave one down in the comments below, or DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is in the description below. I also uploaded a comparison of old and worn Roshes versus new ones, so you should definitely check that out before you watch this video. I briefly talked about the soles in that video, but I would like to go more in depth with this video. Some of the stuff I say in this video will be similar to what I said in the previous video. I do have both pairs with me here to compare. I have the worn pair here, and the pair I am currently wearing here. And at the end of this video, I will have on-foot footage of me walking in each pair. I want to start by talking about the bottom of the sole on the old pair. As you can see, most of the dimple tread pattern has worn away, and there isn't much traction anymore. I have noticed that it is a lot easier to slip on things, mostly in wet weather, but even just in dry weather as well, just on like smooth surfaces or smooth floors. You can also see that most of the wear is on the inner side of the sole. That is from the way I walk. I tend to put more pressure on the inside of my foot, at the heel, and a lot at the toes. This makes the soles slant more and more, and makes you more prone to rolling your ankle if you were playing a sport in them or something. So mine slant inward like that. So it's kind of the opposite way that you would roll your ankle, but I have actually rolled my ankle multiple times while playing sports. Nothing major, just kind of one that throws you off guard and is not really very comfortable, obviously. That issue would be worse if my wear was on the outer side of the shoe, but I still experience it even though I wear on the inner side. The wear is different for everyone. You will see wear in different places depending on where you put pressure on your feet. As a result of this pressure, you can see that I've worn away nearly all of the sole where my big toe is on both shoes. This one's worse, but you can see it's happening on both. This is extremely annoying in wet weather because no matter how hard I try, the water gets in my shoe and my foot always gets soaked. On the pair I am currently wearing, you can see the damage starting in the same places. You can see the dimple pattern is starting to wear away, mostly in the toe and the heel area. It will eventually wear here as well, like you saw in the other pair, but I have not worn these long enough. I think I've worn these for almost a year. So I think the other ones I wore maybe like a year and a half or so, maybe 2 years. And you can sort of see the toe right here is starting to get pretty worn, and it'll also happen here. Now I want to talk about the sides of the sole, or rather the midsole, I guess you could say. On the outer side there isn't anything specific that wears besides these little crease marks. I don't know if you can see these on camera, but there are small crease marks. Those are just as a result of the sole squishing together as you walk. Some parts kind of bend inward and make a little crease mark. But these crease marks wrap around the entire shoe. That is the only thing out of the ordinary on the back as well. You can see them in here. On the newer pair, these crease marks are not as well defined. I don't think you can actually see these on camera on this shoe, but there are very small ones along right here where it was on the other shoe, and as well as the back. There are very, very small ones. I think you can see them on camera right here, but as you can see, they are not as well defined as on the older and more worn pair. Now there is a lot to talk about for the inner side of the midsole. These crease marks here are very defined, and you can see more clearly the amount of wear on the front half of the sole. If you compare it to the newer pair, you can actually see it better. So you can see how much is worn away on that older pair. These crease marks are more defined on this side, like I said before, because I walk on the inner side of my foot. If I were to walk on the outer side of my foot, you would probably see crease marks like this bad on this side of the shoe. Compared to the newer pair, you can still see these crease marks, but they aren't quite as bad as on the older pair. And like I said, you can also gain a perspective of how much of this front sole wore away as compared to the older pair. And you can also see You can kind of also see it at the heel as well. You see on this older pair in my right hand, you can see how it kind of slants downward from so much wear, as opposed to the newer pair, you can't really see it slant down at all. The last thing I want to talk about on the inner side is this area right here. You can kind of see it at a better angle here, how it's kind of flat. I'm not exactly sure what is causing this particular spot to wear down. If you know, please leave it in the comments below. Depending on how you walk, I am sure you will find odd places like this that have worn down. From the front, you can again see how much my soles have worn down around the big toe area. And on the newer pair, again, you can see it. You can see it's wearing, but it's not nearly as bad as the old pair. As a whole, these shoes did come with white soles, and as you can see, they have turned into a tan, brown, gray color as they get dirtier. You can see the color comparison in the previous video. Now I want to show you some on-foot video so you can see how the soles deform under pressure and why my soles have worn the way they have. I would like to start off with the old pair, and in particular with these clips. You can really see the wear that is on the front of my left shoe, especially around the toe. You can see the same thing from this angle, and it really shows why my foot gets really wet whenever I walk in the old Roshes in wet weather. From the front, you can really see that I put all the pressure on the inside of my sole, which shows you why the inner side has been worn so much. You can see the same thing from this angle, just from the back. If you look at the beginning of the clip, you see that my heel kind of tilts inward toward the inner side of my foot. From this angle, you can again see the wear at the big toe, and in the slow-mo you can also see how the inner side of the sole has so many crease marks from being squished down. From this angle, you can again see the wear at the big toe, and you can also see on my right foot how the heel slants inward due to me putting more pressure on the inner side of the sole. Again, from this angle, you can see the inner side of the midsole squished down on my left foot, forming those crease marks. From this angle, you can again see the wear at the big toe and the squishing of the midsole to form those crease marks. Now I want to switch to the less worn pair. Here I will be showing the same order of angles as I did with the older pair. There isn't as much to see with the newer pair just because they aren't really that worn yet. I mean, you saw in the comparison in the beginning of the video that they're worn, but they aren't worn enough to be like noticeable while walking as much as the older pair, since that is really worn down. From this angle, you can see me putting pressure on the inner side of the sole and at the big toe toward the end of the clip. In this clip, you can again see the pressure on the inner side of the sole just from the back, so you see in the slow-mo clip the heel tilt upward and forms that slant on my sole, just like the older pair did. There really isn't too much to see from the first angle, but in the next angle you will be able to see again the heel slant just from the pressure on the inner side of the sole. You'll be able to see the heel come up on my right foot in the slow motion clip, right there. In this clip you can see the sole squish down when I step on my left foot. And on this final clip, there again isn't really too much to see. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like, leave a comment if you have a question about the shoes or an idea for a future video. And lastly, please don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends about my channel so I can grow and help more of you guys out. I'm just helping you out. See you in the next video.